you are ye did Jumedi no shasi and Jumedi no and ye concern from a Kojo Choi, exclusive interview building some baby atuja or NPP asem or Kuffuor asem or Akuffo asem Mahama asem and an appointment or then some don't know day etuja ye say over court not waka could see no who in some no dear corner dear but subscribe like Jumedi and share them out for friends and sanka kindly click on the notification bell no so send a bay news to platform no so also work no dear echo and dear but you can see this exclusive interview from Kojo Choi Makram
program. Kojo, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Next thing.
BBI Boko. And I also
BBI Boko. Right. So I'm curious to know how you met President Mahama, for example, and what may have pushed him to give you this very important position.
You know, he has won the hearts of many of us when we were very young, and I in particular loved him so much when he came to speak on radio, especially on your Joy FM station. In fact, Joy was the best radio station back then with your so many wonderful jingles.
Thank you for that endorsement.
Yes. And growing up, I had a very keen interest of following him, knowing him. And of course, I grew and had different opportunities of seeing him and knowing him. So for instance, he actually wrote a book called My First Coup d'etat.
Right.
He will write, of course, he'll be very busy in the presidency when he was a president, and he wanted maybe quiet time, a different place where, out of his busy schedule, he will come to my restaurant, La Must, to just focus and write his book. And I remember serving him as he was writing his book. Besides that, when he became the first vice president many years ago, the Vandal Association, our Vandal group, Old Vandal, appointed 5 members to go and greet him. So I had somebody like the late Dr. Yao Kranchi, late Kwesi Sekumson. They were my very good friends and mentors, and they wrote my name for us to go and greet him together. So there were many instances, but the real instance where he got to know me as a person with certain capacity and value was 2 years ago when he was invited to Korea as a keynote speaker to a conference dubbed Korea-Africa Business Summit. And I was also invited as a panel speaker. And he saw me moving so smoothly and, I actually had a time to talk with the Prime Minister, together with His Excellency, President John Mahama, with the Foreign Minister of Korea. And I believe that was when he took keen interest and attention.
But you have a huge responsibility, and we'll come to what exactly what exactly the brief says in terms of what is expected of you as Ghana's ambassador to Korea. But there's also, we've seen pictures of you with former President Kuffuor and Akuffo. Care to explain the relationship between these individuals as well, because the assumption is that once you are appointed by a particular regime, you are aligned with them, but you appear to roll with everybody.
I work for the country, and of course, President has no parties; he's beyond parties. I remember when I graduated from my SOS college, I decided to stay. And it was my father's advice that I should remain and become a very unique, Korean African, Korean Ghanaian. And true to his prophecy, when Korean envoy would come to Ghana, it was President Kuffuor who called my service to interpret for him. So I did interpret for President Kuffuor with the Korean special envoy. And same so for President Nana Akufo-Addo. Again, when the Korean presidential envoy came to Ghana, it was me that served them.
They had to fall on you to do the interpretation.
Yeah. So I wasn't serving, as you mentioned, as a party member or to a certain party. I was serving the nation.
And that obviously puts you in a unique position to be an ambassador and to advance the cause of our foreign policy in Korea.
It was, I think it was training and practice. So without knowing, I believe Ghana was training me Ghana knew already that today would come. I never knew. I never dreamed of a position like this. I never dreamed of going back to Korea to live. So whatever is happening right now is something that I have never, thought or sought for.
But I'm also, I'm certain that you read the media commentary when the announcement was made, and some even questioned your nationality, whether the president has given a position to a foreigner, which may be against what the constitution dictates. But then we got to know that you're actually a Ghanaian citizen. If you can enlighten us on that.
No, I totally welcomed every comment from every side. It is very natural and normal, because we Ghanaians, Africa especially used to be a very tribal, it wasn't really a country, but it was very ethnic-centered, tribal, people. But we often forget that race is different from nationality.
Right.
So, as there was a national debate of people, really speaking out their voices, I didn't have to say anything. I believe through the discussion, people got to understand more that the time for Ghana to open itself to accommodate, the diversity and inclusion is far delayed. And the decision that the president did and Ghana did in appointing me has actually brought a ray of hope to many other African countries, where many foreign nationals who really are patriotic and they really want to make a difference for their country, where they were born or they've lived their entire life, were never given the chance or opportunity. But now they feel that this really will bring some hope, as Ghana led the independence of the entire African countries through Kwame Nkrumah.
Right.
Yet our president, John Dramani Mahama, has set a whole new monument.
All right. So, when you first came to Ghana, according to the records that we have, you were 14 years old.
Yes.
You came with your parents?
Yes, of course. I was a minor. My parents, Korean pastors, Presbyterian missionaries. So they came to Ghana to serve and to preach the gospel. So, following them, unlike other Korean children whose parents worked for embassies and big companies, giants, my father lived without much. And unlike my friends who had the opportunity of studying in very expensive schools, he sent me to SOS JSS in Tema.
SOS, which
JSS.
For now, today is reputed as one of the most expensive.
Well, no, SOS colleges.
Okay.
So SOS JSS is just like ordinary junior high school. But that gave me a lot of and I actually lived as a Ghanaian with my friends.
Okay.
And 3 years of my experience at SOS JSS really equipped me as a Ghanaian. And SOS College that you just heard that today is very expensive and today is known as to be one of the best schools. At my time, it was basically a full scholarship-based school, because SOS Kinderdorf was basically funding everything to look for the best students. So. I actually wrote very, very, fearful competition to qualify to join the school.
So your parents came in as missionaries,
yes,
with the intention of coming to do their missionary work and possibly leave. Is that what happened, or you decided to stay after schooling?
My father has already bought a land and he's turned into a grave. So one of our fellow Korean missionary had passed 3 years ago. We had buried her into the burial site, and he has already told us where he wants to be positioned in that graveyard, and I know where I'm going to be. So he had no intention of leaving Ghana.
Okay.
I wanted to leave, to be honest.
You wanted to leave?
Yes, because SOS College gave us all the opportunities to go to the best schools around the world. But it was I think it was my biggest decision to stay. It was my father who actually convinced me to stay, and And that was when, I decided to naturalize.
Okay, so what actually got you to change your mind? What did he say that influenced your decision to stay?
A good son, a good Christian brother is somebody who obeys, and obeying God, and obeying your parents. So it was an act of obedience.
Okay, so tell us, how was life like around that period at SOS?
When I was...
I'm sure you came to Ghana. I don't know whether you were able to speak English back then, or it was the first time you were learning to speak English.
It was all body sign language. It was all body sign language. And I just was...
So how difficult was it to integrate, knowing very well that language was a barrier?
I just love Ghana. To me, Ghanaians have the best, I would say, attitude. When Ghanaian is sad, he's sad.
Yeah.
When you're angry, you're angry. I learned it and I picked it. So, body language was more than enough to be part of my friends. And my friends loved me a lot. Actually, there is a Kenki get-together next week, Saturday.
Kenki party.
SOS, Kenki party of SOS. My year mate. We just became brothers and sisters in no time. Language wasn't a barrier. I think it was the heart that needed to be connected.
Because at 14 you couldn't even speak English. But now you speak impeccable English.
Well, thanks to you.
That's quite a transformation.
Yes.
And I mean, you are in a class, a teacher is teaching you using English, and you still came out on top, went to the University of Ghana, or you had private tuition. How difficult was it to finally abandon Korean and start learning English?
I became a total Ghanaian. There was no other nationality than Ghana and me in the school. And just being one of them, living and eating and sleeping as one of us, we are young, so we'll catch in no time. So it just took me about a year to understand. Of course, there were many different criteria that I had to work harder, such as eating fufu with my friends and all of that. For example, fufu, I don't know, I will just pick and then I would chew, and my friends will look at me and it's my friend. No, I used to do that,
You swallow.
So they taught me how to cut, you can cut this way, you can cut that way, you can make a dimple, you have to swallow. Hey, my friend, you have to swallow. So now I'm a master. I know fufu actually tastes better when you swallow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure, but I've never eaten fufu in my life.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, of course.
You're missing something big.
That's what they say, but I don't know what exactly I'm missing. So, and then to the University of Ghana from SOS.
Yes.
I mean, tell me about life on the University of Ghana campus when you had that independence as an adult, without the protection and the supervision of your parents.
So that was when I decided that I'm no more going back to Korea. I'm going to live here as a Ghanaian. And joining University of Ghana, I joined straight to level 200 because I did a Cambridge IGCSE at SOS College, and I did International Baccalaureate IB Diploma, which gave me direct placement to level 200, and I went to the School of Admin. First semester, guess what? I had all A's.
All A's?
I mean, it was very, I had all A's. And I felt life was boring. And I knew that I'm born to create something more. So I reached out to one of my cousins in Korea who was into printing in a large format prints. And through him I brought equipment. I started business when I was level 200 second semester.
Also, business has always been in the blood.
Yeah.
Is that the reason? Is that the reason why you studied business administration?
Yes.
Because you wanted to become a businessman?
Yeah, my father wanted me to be a businessman so I can make money and use that money to use it for missions.
So all your schooling all schooling have been in Ghana, from SOS to the University of Ghana, and I've got your own business thriving.
Yeah, no, I studied business when I was at Legon, as I began University of Ghana, and I became very successful and very famous student at Legon because I was sponsoring all the events. I sponsored Ghana Music Awards. I sponsored Miss Legon. Yeah. I know Daddy Lumba very well. I even gave an award to, the president of Ghana Music.
Obo.
He was, he was also very mate. I've had my time with, Ghana as into media. I was printing and I used to sponsor a lot of events. So many of the students knew me as I was schooling, and that actually brought me to get to know more people because I was one of the best graphic designers.
Okay.
And of course, CEOs of big companies would like to know and meet the person who is designing, and CEO will tell you, I want to achieve this from this artwork. So I got access to meet MDs of so many different companies through advertising.
But on school, you were on campus then. Yeah. So how did you raise the capital to start a business? It
was my cousin in Korea from whom I got the equipment. And I was looking for an office space to start. I didn't have money. So one day I had a dream. I was busy looking for a space and I had a dream. God showed me a place. And on that day, my father told me there is a Korean captain who is married to a Ghanaian woman, and he has a house office next to which is not used. Why don't you go and have a look? It happened to be Ashama. When he told me it's Ashama, I said, no, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. He said, no, just go and have a look.
Why? Because Ashama had a...
you know, I mean, come on, advertising, your office is Ashama.
You know, it's right far from the city.
So I went to Ashama and you know what? God is wonderful.
You just love the place.
No, it was exactly the same as to what I saw in my dream. And I said, this is the place. And so my very first workplace was in Ashama. So I'm an Ashama boy before I became a boy, and now Accra boy.
So on campus, you employed other people to work with you?
I actually employed my own friends and my seniors.
And they didn't interfere with your studies?
Oh, he actually did. He actually did. But I actually hired my seniors, those who did masters.
Okay.
And those who did. So at one point, when the year I was graduating, I had a total of 15 workforce, out of which 8 were my mates and seniors from Legon. And of course, it affected my studies. And, you know, I'm so sorry, but I did what I had to do called C0nfus.
Okay.
So I always was able to pass, just, you know. Yes, it did affect, but I never regretted starting business.
So the decision to sponsor, for example, the Ghana Music Awards and the likes, was it to give your company that visibility, or you just wanted to be part of what society was talking about?
To be honest, there was not much business. The biggest business I had since I started in 1999 was the year 2000. There was election. And still in the year 2000, people were, you know, painting billboards. And I think it was between President, you know, Kuffuor and Mills.
The late Mills.
The late Mills. And party supporters, you know, they come, you know, with their faces. I printed thousands of their faces, you know. So that was one business that I started in Ghana. Of course, many of them didn't come back to pay, which means I've never, you know, voluntarily supported the parties, but indirectly I've supported both parties in so many different ways. And so, because I wasn't busy, when an opportunity comes like that, it's a good time to promote my business.
Okay.
So all I did was to print the backdrops, the banners, the billboards. Yeah.
And is this business so on?
No, in 2002, I had a feeling that I had to move on because I'm very spiritual. I pray a lot, and I had a feeling that it's time to move on. And I called all my colleagues and told them that in the next 6 months, I have a feeling that I'm going to move on. So you have to manage this business yourself. And in the 6 months, I moved to campus. This time I started the biggest internet cafe.
Okay.
It was called Speedstar. Speedstar. It was internet cafe. I served both Commonwealth Hall and the Central Cafeteria. But you see, God is so wonderful. When I was at Billboard, I was into advertising. I used to visit Scancom, Spacephone.
Yeah, formerly.
Now MTN.
Now MTN.
Begging for business. Because my machine was smaller, they wouldn't give the business to me, and because I was from my shaman, they wouldn't give business to me. They were all importing the prints from South Africa.
Okay.
But I used to go there every week just to show my commitment and my desire. I've done that for 2 years without a single job. Now that I've moved on to something different, the data business on campus, I happened to have visited MTN after a while, and they were quite in shock because a guy who used to come every week hasn't appeared in like 6 months. And they said, "What do you do now?" I said, "I'm into this on campus." And they said, "Then I have a business for you." So they gave me payphone booths.
Okay.
If you remember that back in the days, mobile phone rates, the tariffs are very expensive.
Right.
So especially students go only.
And it was actually hard
flash.
to come by a mobile phone at that time too.
No, but of course initially, but after a while, everybody used that as a beeper. And the reason why that happened was it was totally impossible for Ghana Telecom to connect to Space Phone and vice versa.
Okay.
So everybody had to move on to mobile phones. And the rate that I was charging the students was about 1/3 of how much was officially being charged.
Okay.
So the payphone booth that came to me was a blessing, because I had students queuing for about 20 meters every day to make the affordable calls. And through that payphone business, I actually got into MTN authorized distributorship.
I mean, I'm asking all of these questions because I mean, at that time and at that age and still pursuing degree, and you decided that no, I want to add value to myself. I want to do other things to bring in the revenue. Not a lot of people do that, especially when they are at that stage of their life. And so I wonder, is it because you had parents who would push you to the limit, or you had your own ideas that you were willing, regardless of the risks, to pursue?
I disagree with you in a way by saying that when you travel to Norway, Sweden, Scandinavian countries, you know how they are? They are quite laid back. I don't see any urgency in them.
Okay.
I don't see any sense of entrepreneurship in them, because government basically sponsors everything for them. Ghana is a home of entrepreneurs. There are so many people of my kind. For me, is the lack of resource, that people aren't able to pursue what they dream. I was lucky because I had a cousin who was already into that business, from whom that I was able to convince to send the printing equipment, which I started. But I can bet you that Ghana has the best of the best entrepreneurs. When we actually support them and give them the best platform, I can bet you that we'll have very, very, very powerful businessmen from
So
Ghana.
clearly the ideas may be there, but what may be challenges the resources to have it take off from the ground?
Because you're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to try, and you're allowed to fail. You're allowed to try again, and you're allowed to fail again. And as you're trying and then failing, you get something that you can hold on to. But we don't have many chances, and we are not given that opportunity. The one chance that you have is like the only opportunity.
But personally, I mean, since being in the business environment, you think the environment is conducive for startups to grow?
No, it hadn't been so. If you will compare us to other developed countries, there are so many, business is not just by you, it is linked, and it is a whole ecosystem. Banking is just one side of it.
Okay.
The government is just one side of it. And they all come together, interconnected, to provide that conducive environment for young starters to start. I think we've lagged behind.
What would be your suggestion if you are asked to change this narrative, for example?
I believe that when there is a will, there's a way. I believe that the will of the leader, the will of the country, I believe that there's going to be a way. So perhaps I believe you've seen all the fruits and the result that has started coming in from our president, who is really, really working hard. I believe that his strong will will create ways and results.
Okay.
And I'm part of it to help him achieve more.
Okay. Then after school, when did pay switch come in? So
MTN authorized distributorship, which is Nanatel. We were in charge of Eastern and Volta regions of MTN. All we did was to just resell the products MTN offered onto us to the regions. So pretty much it is not ours to hold on to. And as technology was advancing and our need was actually decreasing to MTN. But I saw an opportunity of a whole new space. When you travel to other countries, every banks have their own data center with very qualified tech people. And banks themselves have the system of being able to integrate them into all different networks around the world, where they can issue Visa card, MasterCards, and also their own scheme from within the bank, offer services of POS and ATM and online banking. Out of 20 banks we have right now, you'll be surprised only maybe 1/4 has that system.
Okay.
The remaining 3/4 are buying such system from outside Ghana. And my question was, why are they doing that? Why isn't there a company in Ghana that can provide this service for these banks? And I was studying into it and I realized of a whole new instrument called credit.
Okay.
Korea, America, Asia were able to triple and quadruple their GDP in no time because they used an instrument called credit. Credit basically empowers all of you with purchasing power.
Right.
But what is credit? Credit is basically an instrument. It's not real cash.
No.
It's a trust, right? But what forms credit? I was actually delving into it. There are many criteria. How much do you own? How much do you own? Your asset portfolios, the time you change your banks. But the most important criteria is your payment history. Your payment history. If if you show people that you pay on time without delay, your credit rating
goes up.
And there's something to start credit on you. Ghana didn't have that.
And we still don't.
No, right now, pay switch. Pay switch comes in. What we do is we harvest payment data. All this data we are losing to the third-party payment processing companies outside Ghana. But now that we are able to harvest those data, we have a system now, our own system, which does credit rating. So we actually have started some solutions with MTN and a few banks to offer, buy now, pay later kind of products. So yes, sooner or later, Ghana is going to enjoy credit.
We are talking to Ghana's ambassador to South Korea, Kojo Choi. We will take a short break. When we return, we are not going to go into the role expected of him as Ghana's representative in South Korea, and plus other issues that everybody is asking about. I mean, his connection to Ghana, food, arts, and other things. I've seen something on this table, chess, and I see a lot of this in the Office of Businessmen. Perhaps you will walk us through why this is so important and how they are able to strategize using some of these things when we return from this short break. And we're going to go into other matters. We'll talk about food, we'll talk about arts, we'll talk about football, we'll talk about his family, and plus other interesting things that you are waiting to hear from him. But Kojo, so you are yet to take your post in South Korea, but what briefing have you been given so far?
There's going to be orientation and full sessions of a program for all the ambassadors. That is going to be in the next few days. Okay. So we are yet to see what training and readiness that we'll be equipped with.
So it's unclear when you formally take your post?
No, it all depends on the host country at the moment. I believe Ghana has sent the letter introducing all of us to the respective countries.
Okay.
The host country will now receive that and have to now endorse accepting the person who is coming. So we are basically waiting. Everybody is waiting for that documentation.
And so it's safe to say that you don't know your marching orders as we speak.
But from Ghana, everything is set. From Ghana, everything is set. So as I said, it depends on how fast the host country will respond. Normally, if it's very fast, it will take about 2 to 3 weeks. If it's very slow, it might take up to 2 months, is what I know is the normal process.
I mean, South Korea is one of the biggest economies in the world. I mean, you talk about South Korea and you are talking about Samsung, you are talking about, vehicles that's, some of your brands are well known in Ghana. I drive a Kia Sportage. And so South Korea has become a major player in global affairs. Now, I've been looking at the numbers between Ghana and South Korea. According to the Observatory of Economic Complexity, as of May 2025, Ghana's export to the Korean market stood at $10.6 million, whilst import from Korea stood at $13.8 million, resulting in trade deficit for Ghana of 3.9 million. Is this something you are willing to change, and what will be the strategy to do so?
The number that I just took, I believe that the export from Korea to Ghana will be much higher than that, I believe.
Okay.
The reason why the volume that is captured from Ghana to Korea is very small is because most of our products that are being exported, some of them can't be exported directly and straight to Korea. I believe the Koreans are buying that through the agents of Ghana. So indirectly, whatever they are buying will be way, way higher than that. Because I know there is a company called Lotte. They manufacture chocolate with Ghana brand.
In fact, that's the major trade between Ghana and South Korea.
Cocoa, yes.
Chocolate and cocoa products.
I can comfortably tell you that they buy in a year chocolate worth of $300, $400 million a year. And I am pretty much sure that quite a chunk of part of that is Ghana cocoa. So why isn't that registered here? Because they buy through the market in Europe.
They don't buy directly from Ghana.
Yes.
So
I believe that is the reason why it is low. But rightly you said there's a need to find, more.
You go so I heard you made no family na yada press subscribe like you made and share them out for friends and kindly click on the notification bell to send a video in news and platform so also walk no the air call and the but you made no you want to be you made no do now until yada bed and yada bremo yanko na yen twaso
More avenue to export what we can to Korea. For example, like burger basket. Let's talk about very simple burger basket. It's very nice. It's very beautiful. It's about how to showcase it there and for them to find a beautiful need for it. If let's say Korean, I think they are now about 50 millions. If at 50 million, meaning they have home of let's say maybe 20 million homes. I mean, if you have let's say 10% using burger basket, that's a good number of burger baskets in Korea. Of course, it will take some creative ways and means
to do it,
to find what to export and how to export. So, as you mentioned, my role as Ghana's ambassador to Korea will be looking into all aspects of possibilities.
But for example, the burger basket that you talk about, what will be your proposal to get the basket into the Korean market, for example?
Well, first, I'll have to speak to Madam Jifa at the Ministry of Tourism.
I know so many friends of mine who are into that kind of business.
We have to just find a way of the entire system promoting and supporting, such export. We have to try and remove whatever bureaucracies and difficulties that exist which prevent even people from carrying baskets when they are going home by themselves. At the moment, you'll be surprised that it's very difficult to carry because there are certain restrictions, even from our own land. So, as I say, to take very creative approaches. But I just want to touch the Korean side of it. If you look at Korea, Korea was also colonized by Japan.
Right.
And soon after the independence, they suffered outbreak of war. And that basically brought the entire Korea flat. In 1970, Ghana's GDP was almost same as Korea's GDP. They don't have cocoa, they don't have gold, they don't have the peace that we have. There's a country that is surrounded by the world, powers,
right?
Japan, Russia, and China. So whilst they're busy building their business economy, they have another huge responsibility of looking what is happening elsewhere. But see what they've been able to achieve in no time.
Right.
I believe that standing as a bridge between Ghana and Korea, some of the best practices, some of the best success models should be brought in for us to try. And also the other aspect of many Korean companies at the moment, they are in need of the next journey of their business. For example, the petrochemical factories in Korea right now, they are really suffering. Meanwhile, we don't have much of petrochemical here. Why are they suffering in Korea? Because they have to import crude oil or natural gas all the way in its natural form to Korea.
Right.
They now have to process it. It makes everything more expensive. And whereas in Ghana we have all the raw materials and we have the market that needs the products from such factories, what about perhaps being able to convince them to relocate their factory to Ghana? Of course, they will not come here unless they are pretty much sure that they are protected and the market is here and is conducive. So it will be also our position to how we make their coming comfortable. If you look at other countries...
But for example, can they draw lessons from companies from South Korean origin that are already operating in Ghana? For example, we are assembling Kia vehicles in Ghana. Isn't that a classic example of the conducive business environment that exists in Ghana? That others can look at it and say that if these people have been able to do it, and with your coordination, we can have more of them set up in Ghana to create the needed business and jobs that is quite crucial in Ghana.
It is a very good indicator. It's a very positive indicator to the companies in Korea. But Koreans naturally are already very wealthy. Many of them don't know why should we go out of their comfort zone. So it will take more than that. So I want to draw your attention to our relationship, Ghana's relationship with many other countries. I understand one of the mining company is a license and going to be renewed, and you hear all sort of stories, with other countries. What so far happened to us was the unfair balance of share of wealth. Many countries have their own agenda and interests. If there's a country without such selfish agenda, trust me, it's Korea.
Right.
So they will be very much willing to come onto the table, and Ghana should be very comfortable to discuss with them, what would be the win-win model for Korea and Ghana. And I believe there's going to be a very, beautiful meeting point.
And you have a huge responsibility on your hands as you go into this territory. I see Korea try to rebrand, and they are doing so well at it. I mean, for example, if you are watching Netflix these days, you see a lot of Korean movies, and they are portraying the culture, the country, and everything around it. And I wonder, in terms of positioning Ghana as a business destination, branding Ghana the way Korea is being branded to us via some of these avenues, what are the strategies for you?
I don't think they knew themselves that one day K-drama was going to be that big.
Yeah.
They never knew that one day the K-music was going to be that big. They never knew. They never knew the K-food was going to be that big. So the question lies to us, will there be a time that G-drama is going to be big that way? Is there going to be a day that G-music is going to be big that day? I mean, one day, they didn't know.
Right.
We don't know. Am I right? If you look into our music, do you know that I would say is one of the most creative and beautiful, music that we have in the world.
Ghana music.
Yeah, but I believe there's a trend. If you look at the shape of vehicles, one day some decades is roundish, some decades is very pointed, some decades now it's boxy again. I see we've gone back to the 60s. So I believe there's a certain trend that goes around the world, and we just pray for the day that they love what we have. Then I believe that just the way they didn't know, we didn't know, but we will realize that we are there too.
And you say that Ghana is ready for business, at least from your perspective.
Of course, yes. Right now, all the indicators are saying we are very serious. So I believe that we are super ready.
Now, let's touch on the lighter issues of this. I mean, your family, how is your family taking this?
I am still processing, so I wonder how they are processing it. It is a greatest honor done to my father, who has served our Ghanaians and the villagers, who already has a graveyard earmarked for him in Ghana. So this has really served him as the best present as a son and as a Ghana could give to him. I have two siblings, so we have three, you know.
Okay.
All of us graduated from University of Ghana. And I believe that is more or less, in fact, I haven't even dreamed about it, so it's not even a dream come true. I would say, like the K-drama thing. We didn't know it coming.
Right.
So it will take a bit more time for me to process, but when I'm done with processing, we'll revisit the question.
But so far, they're okay with the new road that you are taking. I mean, getting into the public space, the attention on them.
You know, there's time for everything. So I believe that when there was time to be very quiet at the back and just do your best in what you do, and if there's a time that I have to perform at a bigger level, then of course it comes with its conditions, and we're happy to accept it.
And also, you are into art. I mean, I see a lot of artwork in your office. I also did arts at the secondary school. So anybody who is into art, I mean, you are automatically my ally.
You Jumadian Gusua to our semester subscribe, like it, Jumadian share them out for friends and can kindly click on the notification bell on the send a baby in the other platform. So also, well, no dear air call and the Baha and the Jumadian Vessia, Mr. POG Media, Yanamo, Macram.